Thanks so much, Pam, for sharing your garden with us. Right now, we're going to be talking with a landscape designer from Countryside Nursery. We're going to be talking about groupings of native plants and how to design with native plants. I want to welcome Matt Davidson to the program. Thanks for being with us, Matt.
Thank you for having me.
This is going to be a great topic. As a designer, I know that you have a lot of different kinds of things to consider with every single plant. There's how things can fit together. What I remember most, though, about design is that when I first started off as a gardener, I just fell in love with plants. And I'd bring them all home and mash them together, and it was a total mess. But you're trying to help people avoid that situation.
Exactly, yeah.
So tell me a little bit about some of the things that you try to communicate to your customers.
It's important to consider all the varying factors of the site, you know, the soil, the moisture, views that you want to block out, you want to take wind into account.
It's a really interesting art to combine different things, and what you've done today is bring us a bunch of different kinds of plants that we could talk about, and we're going to be showing them as groups and then talking about them individually. The first grouping that we're going to talk about are plants that are classic Texas natives, and these are really for open, sunny areas, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, we got some Texas sage, and that's a great evergreen shrub that plant en masse, and they'll stay in, you know,
full sun,
and those are great foundation shrubs to put down there as well. And
you know, and a nice thing about the Texas sage and those full shrubs like that is that it gives you a constant presence. It's substantive. And then you brought some other plants that would kind of counterpoint that, right?
Yeah, one of my favorite design features is the Sotol in front of the Texas sage. It's just really iconic.
Right.
And the Sotol is really architectural and moves in the wind, and yeah,
a dramatic fountain-like form.
Yeah,
and
we'll shoot up a raceme, a stalk with some flowers on it.
Yeah, that could be quite stunning. And unlike the agaves, it will keep alive after that goes away, which is a real benefit too.
Yeah.
And behind the you brought the Sotol, but you also brought a friendlier version, let's say, of the same kind of plant. This is Onulina, but it doesn't have the thorns that the Sotol has. It's easier to weed around.
Exactly. It's in a smaller size as well. It stays lower, but they go really great together.
Yeah.
They grow together a lot in Big Bend.
And so again, there's similar situations, well-drained soil, full sun. All these plants are absolutely going to love it. And another interesting plant that I think has kind of an interesting sculptural form too is Agarita. I don't usually think of it in that kind of way, but it's a really good, dependable background plant.
It's wonderful. It's got a lot of things that I mean, it blooms yellow flowers in the spring, and then in the fall it has the red berries that the birds love so much, and they will get kind of spiky and architectural, just like the Sotol or the Nolina. Yeah.
So again, a nice full presence, but a striking profile. And then for something that has a kind of a wispy quality, you brought some kidney wood as well.
Yeah, the kidney wood's a nice, soft, deciduous, small tree, large shrub, and that's kind of. All these things kind of layer together. The kidney wood's taller than the Texas sage. The Sotol's smaller, you know.
Right.
Yeah. Kind of create dense layers.
And the kidney wood also, of course, right now, we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the blooms, which are super fragrant.
Oh yeah, you can smell it from here. They're really perfume.
So it's a wonderful plant. Again, counterpointing all these things we've talked about. Down below is Zexmania, a little show of color that can pop up. And I think the yellow colors look really good against something like the Sotol or the Nolina. That it shows really well against those kind of plants.
Yeah, I like the yellow flowers against the silver gray foliage of the Texas sage as well.
All right. Well, one plant that would fill in really nicely around the base of all those plants we were just describing is this, and this is the woolly stomodia. Am I
Yes.
saying that right?
Yes, yeah.
Stomodia. Well, I love the look of this plant. I know we've talked about it before on the show, but tell me a little bit more about it, because it looks like it'd be super at the edge of a border.
It is. It's really great to put down on as a ground cover. It spreads, so you don't have to plant it too thick. It'll do its job and spread out. And it's got really beautiful violet blooms as well that very similar to the Texas sage. Look great together, and it's kind of matching and massing colors together that kind of let the eye kind of smooth over the landscape. You know?
Right. That's a very nice way of putting it, actually, is that your eye needs to rest, and the kind of groupings of things with similar colors, et cetera, just kind of naturally lets the eye kind of
roll over
the landscape. Exactly, right. Well, woolly stomodia looks like a winner to me. You brought another grouping of plants I want to highlight, and this is less for the full sun, well-drained soil kind of thing. These plants can do in some shade and have a little bit richer garden soil as well.
Yeah.
And you've brought 3 different things, but and again, nice variety of textures and forms.
Yeah, the evergreen sumac is my all-time favorite plant.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it's a great background plant against and privacy plant as well. It gets 12 to 15 feet tall in its mature age, and it has flowers for nectar, and it's got berries for the birds to eat, and it's a really great winter food for the birds when they're really looking for something.
All right. Well, I like all the sumacs down here.
Me too.
They're beautiful plants.
The Grollo sumac is another one of my favorite as well. The prairie leaf.
Well, this one is, again, nice evergreen filler, if you will, but it's got a nice texture to it, so it does more than just fill. It adds kind of a quality to the landscape that's really nice.
A really interesting fact about that plant is when freezing temperatures, it will stress out the plant a little bit and create a
bronze color.
Bronze and purple leaf, yeah.
That's a really beautiful. Now, next to that is Salvia regla, or mountain sage, which is one of the first native plants I actually fell in love with. When I saw one of these things in bloom the first time, it really took my breath away.
And it's a great sage for the shade, which you don't find that very often.
Big show of red flowers.
Yeah.
And these are large for a salvia. We're used to the little diminutive salvia blooms. These are big showy red flowers, right?
Yeah.
And then, of course, behind those 2 plants, we have inland sea oats, which is like constantly in motion in the garden.
Exactly, yeah. And the inland sea oats really kind of reminds me of bamboo almost in the architectural way. And the seed heads are really important food for the birds as well. It's you got to be careful with those because they can spread and move around in the garden. Yeah.
They can and will.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Matt, believe it or not, we were already out of time, but I want to thank you for bringing these interesting plants for us to talk about and ways to kind of group them together. And hopefully we've inspired people to do the same thing in their garden. Well, Matt, thanks again for sharing all your great information about these wonderful plants. I hope a lot of people will come out and visit you.
Thanks. We're a full-service nursery. We got 4 acres of trees and plants. Come on out and see us. On the weekends, we got seminars.
Great. Well, I'm sure people will do that. And coming up next is our friend Daphne.